Welcome back. It is the Nickel and Dime Show every Thursday on YouTube. Got your man Drew, of course, behind the wheels. Got your man Suds right here. Can't wait to see y'all, man. Let's get it done.
Week 13. We've come so far.
So far, and so much further to go. Like, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was about to say, are the wheels starting to fall off a little bit? Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. 1-3 in November, man. That don't feel good. I almost feel like this is the old Bucs. Like, we might as well have Jameis Winston in there. You know what I mean?
It seems no one wants Jameis Winston in there. The Saints don't even want him to play
quarterback. They really don't. I mean, that meme of him holding the clipboard has been surfacing just everywhere for weeks now. I mean, like, people wanting him in there, people really starting to come around to the fact that they don't know why he hasn't been getting any looks. But, I mean, against Denver, though, Drew, like, he ain't even getting no looks against Denver.
91 total yards. 91 total passing yards in the entire game.
And a
91
former Heisman trophy winner, number 1 draft pick, can't get on the field. I don't know. Yeah,
what? I mean, they still won 31-3. Like,
true.
No reason to hit the panic
right.
button.
And
but still, like,
I mean,
not even a couple of packages. You know what I mean? Like, the beginning of the game was rough.
Yeah.
Not even like thinking about putting them in for a couple of plays. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, and I think that's just more what we were talking about last week is just Sean Payton and the game plan, man. Like, that's how he's game planning it. That's the way that it's going, and they just don't have any packages for him. And, I mean, to their credit, they wound up beating the snot out of him, but it really took a long time. And the question kind of begs, Drew, is like, what are they going to do when they run into a real team, right? Like, what's going to happen there?
Right. I don't know, man. The NFC hierarchy worries me.
Yeah.
It feels like you got the NFC East with its own problems, but also the top teams of the NFC is like, I don't want it. You take it.
Right.
I don't want it.
Yeah, it's basically a game of hot potato, and it's just like we were talking about it before, man. They just have all of their warts. Like, every team has warts. There's no consistency. Like, all the consistency I'm seeing is from the Chiefs and the Steelers. I mean, maybe, I guess, like
question mark.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it, man. That's so a lot left on the table after Thanksgiving. But you know, but it's just so many questions left to be answered, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of the Thanksgiving games, man, I enjoyed it. They were both blowouts. Washington destroyed Dallas. The Texans fired Patricia.
We've been waiting on that shoe to drop, have we not? Like, I didn't know they were going to get rid of the GM though.
Took the GM out with
I didn't know they was going to get rid of the GM too. So now Matt Stafford's just running. He's running the organization.
But you're the
right.
coach.
Yeah, he can probably do it though too. He's been there long enough. But yeah, I thought the games were pretty good, and what I did like is Washington kind of taking their head coach, the moniker of their head coach, and just gambling for it and getting it done, and putting themselves in position to be in the lead in the division. They're leading the division right now. So them and the Giants called that one though. Them and the Giants. So
do the Giants have the tiebreaker, right? Like, if it were to be tied,
I want to say yes, but I'm not sure. But like I said, it's just so many scenarios that this last couple of weeks for this NFC, and
so many things.
We're going to talk about it in a minute. We got a little something special for y'all, but it's very interesting, Drew. But we gotta address the elephant in the room right now, bruh. Derrick Henry went off, my guy. Like, he went off.
Yes, he
went off.
178 yards, my guy.
3 touchdowns. And every week we continue, like, he's just been that guy for the last couple of weeks. And I mean, you can't do anything but crown him at this point. Like, I just don't know. A.J. Brown also had 2 TDs, one on the kickoff. Like, that's a smart, heady play right there, putting himself in position.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he put up them numbers for me.
Oh, he did? You had him? Started him?
Yeah. But I also had, Yeah, I started him, but I also had Jonnu Smith, who put a big old goose egg up.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't start. I got him in our league, and I didn't start Jonnu because he's just inconsistent. But like weirdly enough,
I had to. The casualty of the Ravens, Mark Andrews, is my usual go-to.
Well,
so
Jonnu's not a bad second option though. But the game wasn't close, and to be honest, man, I mean, I couldn't have been more wrong about the way this game was going to play out, right? Like, go ahead and address that. But moving into another game, Drew, how many times we got to talk about it, man? This is why I stay away from Arizona. They win when they're not supposed to, and they lose when they're not supposed to, man. And this game was served up for them on a platter. You had the inconsistent Pats coming in. I mean, the Pats were at home, and you can't count out Bill Belichick and what he's able to do on a game-to-game basis. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't do it. So,
I definitely didn't see this happening. The Patriots, I thought they were pretty much dead in the water after they didn't win the week before. But then they come out and beat probably a playoff team in Arizona. You know, like
and I mean, again, you've kind of been on this train. I've been a little slow. Me of all people have been slow on this train, but you have said that Cam might be done, Drew, and like he might be done, man. He might be done, and they got the win, but I hate it. I don't see it. So shout to you, man. Because
do you think he's straight up just out of the league next year, or is he in like a Jameis Winston?
I think he's still in a Jameis Winston type role come next year. It's just I don't know that it like. We should talk about that in the next couple of weeks, but like, where is Cam going to go? Because I really don't think it's going to be the Patriots.
Nah, I think the Patriots are done.
Yeah. I mean, it's
they cut the cameras did not do him any favors on Sunday. Every time I was watching the game, the cameras were cutting to McDaniels, and he was just shaking his head every time.
Wow.
Why am I working?
Right, and I guess that's crazy because I didn't see that, but I did see that like at the end of the game they were all hugged up. So that's very like crazy to hear that that's how it was during the game.
He's like, "Hey, we
won." Winning cures all, man. I mean, you see it. So
it does.
Kind of moving on to the next game, though, Drew. But Cleveland versus the Jags. Mayfield was on schedule with 250 passing yards, a very pedestrian passing day. But we gotta say,
doing what he does.
Welcome back, Jarvis Landry. We missed you.
About time.
Thank you. I mean, with OBJ gone, you figured it would have almost been instant, but
something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
143 and a touch for him. The Cleveland running backs, Drew, between the two of them, I mean, obviously, Nick Chubb had the day out of the two, right? But we got to give Kareem Hunt his due. But as a whole, 20 rushes, 200 yards, and a touchdown. Like they don't really need to do a whole lot.
I don't care if it takes three guys to get you those numbers. Those are great numbers,
right? Like, I mean, and that's your whole rushing backfield. So, in my opinion, it was the Jaguars. Shout to Mike Glennon. He had a okay day, like especially coming back on.
When did you think you would ever say that?
He threw a couple of dots. He threw a couple of dots to the receivers. So
he's been. I mean, I don't know. He's been waiting.
You've been dreaming about this for a long time.
He's all practiced up.
Yeah. Good for him, man. Good for him. That's the best way to put it. But I gotta say, man, like if the way to beat in Cleveland, Drew, it seems like if you stop their run and force Baker to beat you, they're gonna have some trouble. They're going to have some trouble.
Good luck with that.
Right, but you got to stop the run first. Like you know where.
But no, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, and that's the.
I don't think Baker can beat most teams by himself.
If you put it on him, I think they may falter. But it's kind of the old adage though. It's like what we're gonna do. It's on you to stop it. So yeah. I take that.
I hope the Joker burn it down in me just wants to see pure chaos. Wants to see Tennessee versus Cleveland in the playoffs, and the defense shut down both running games. I want to see Baker Mayfield versus Ryan Tannehill, arm for arm. Who can walk out
Drew
of there?
setting a scenario. Tell me that's like I I envisioned that whole thing when you were saying it, and like it was a showdown in the Wild West for me. Like the two
right.
quarterbacks, and
the little tumbleweed goes across.
But it's in the winter, so you know it's gonna be snowy. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, set the scene. I like that. I like that. But I would love to see that game.
Yeah, man.
I would love to see that game. But like talking about Mike Glennon, just for one last second here, I actually wrote this down. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. But I said,
I'm here for it.
Mike Glennon is a good backup quarterback. Unfortunately, he would be the best quarterback on the Bears if he was still there. Is it not true? Is it not true?
That's very
true. I mean,
because unfortunately Mitchell had a chance. He could have showed the world, and he didn't. I mean, did you really think he would? Be honest. I was hoping. I mean, I held hope.
Oh, that's right. You got a vested interest in that man, a very small one, but a vested interest in him being a Carolina fan. Though I forgot about that.
To be honest with you, the only reason I care about him anymore is because I'm trying to talk up my man Sam Howell to people.
Yeah.
The next North Carolina quarterback.
This man is,
and people are holding Trubisky against him.
This man is not lying.
Appreciate it.
Drew has been standing for Sam Howell in the group chat on many different occasions. Like I'm just going a peek behind the kimono here. This is I'm telling you, this is actually very true. So like yes he is, and his numbers look good. Drew, his numbers look good.
You're hurting me.
Weirdly enough, like you got me. You got my interest peaked, right? So I started paying attention to some of the Carolina games, and he looks like he's a good quarterback. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He carries himself like it. You know what I mean? He's faking it till he makes it. At the very least,
got a little something. I'm very interested to see. Yeah. So I'll give you that.
I want to see how he progresses. He's still got another year in college before he can even think about coming out.
So a lot of time to build on his resume, though, for sure.
Man, I got a quick question for you. Moving on to another game. What happened to the Raiders?
Oh, my Drew. What? I don't know. I just don't like. I have no answers for you, and it's kind of like they got boat raced in all facets of the game, like
43-6
from the outset. Like they weren't even in it. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
Was this like? They had to come east. Was this like, were they tired? Do you know anything behind the scenes about why they didn't show up?
I hope that just wasn't them. You know what I mean? Like I hope that just wasn't the Raiders that week. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like let me put this on the table for you. My starting quarterback in fantasy, Lamar Jackson, couldn't play this week. So I hit up the waiver wire, see what kind of quarterback I can pick.
Got to scour.
I decided to pick out a lad named Derek Carr.
Oh.
Who proceeds to get me 1 point.
Ooh.
I got 1 point from the QB position this week.
Took that L.
1 point.
Took that L. I don't even need to know what the rest of your team is like. I know you took the L this week. Like 1 point from the quarterback is a death
and I still scored over 100 points.
What?
Still scored over 100 points without him, but I still lost.
Oof.
So my team came to play, like, minus Mr.
The rest
Carr.
of your fantasy team is even looking at Derek Carr sideways. You know what I mean?
Right? Come on, bro.
You couldn't. Oh.
We put up 20-some points. He ruined a great day from Nick Chubb.
And this is the problem. So this is the problem. Like, it's talking about Atlanta. Like, I'm sorry for Nick Chubb. I mean, because Nick Chubb had a day. We talked about that, right? He had a day. But this is the problem with Atlanta, is because on any given, they are the perfect any given Sunday team, because they will burn you. And we have talked about this before, and this is why they are a dangerous team and will continue to be a dangerous team going forward. And I am talking to you, Tampa Bay, because you got them twice. You got them twice coming up. So they can strike you. You need to put them to bed early. Let them know that they are a bad team, because if the way the game started, it just started off bad for the Raiders, and like the confidence grew. The Raiders were on the road. Atlanta was at home. I mean, it snowballed on them, and it was over. It was over from the outset.
That was a hell of a snowball.
It was a beatdown.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So Drew, man, I gotta know. It was all over the place. What happened? Not what happened to Carolina, but how were you feeling about Carolina versus Minnesota on Sunday?
I'm in one of those weird scenarios where I fully understand that losing is in our best interest. But I just want it to be fun to watch. And they delivered on both those accounts. They lost, and it was fun to watch. But my guy, Jeremy Chin, you've been ranting and raving about this guy from the get-go. But back-to-back fumble return touchdowns.
Fumble recoveries for touchdowns.
Back-to-back plays.
Even if you, like, back-to-back plays even, and that's the thing is, like, even if you just look at the stat sheet, you see a rookie defender with 2 touchdowns on the season, and you like,
what?
Rookie of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, he like, even if you didn't see the play, and of course you saw the play, because like, how often does that happen, right?
Yeah.
Just being in the right place at the right time. Good football players find themselves in those positions, and he's a good football player. He has definitely thrown his name into Defensive Rookie of the Year candidacy with that performance, and now you're going to start looking back at his other performances leading up to that, and you're going to see that he's been balling
the whole time.
That he's integral to what they're doing in that Carolina defense, even though at times he's had his struggles. He's a rookie, but at times the whole defense has had their struggles, and he's one of the better defenders on that squad, in my opinion. Anyway.
I mean, we look good, you know what I mean? Like, of course, that last minute touchdown hurts, but we marched right back down the field and put us in a position to win. So, I mean, and kickers going to be kickers, man.
Go ahead. I know, man, and Drew, and this is the problem, is because I was really paying attention to that game, and I needed y'all to win. Because basically, if y'all would have won, y'all would have put Minnesota to bed. I mean, it would have been very, very hard for them to come back for that loss, and they needed it, and they got it, man. And it just, like, kind of moving forward for them, like, that one win could make or break their season, and they needed it, and they got it. But like, y'all, I think the Panthers were, like we said earlier, they're not an easy out. Like, they're just not an easy out. And I think Minnesota might have slept on y'all a little bit, and they got everything they wanted, but they were fortunate to come out with a win.
They were.
It is what it is.
I mean,
now,
you
know this was coming.
You mean to tell me you don't want Kirk Cousins in the playoffs? You don't want to see Kirk throwing the pigskin around in December?
Mean,
come on.
If it's versus the Saints, I do. But like, other than that,
see, it makes for good stories.
Right. Other than that, I think if you put it like that, I mean, maybe I do, because Kirk might give us a couple. He might give us a couple picks in the playoffs. You know what I mean? But like. It's a huge game coming up in a couple of weeks. The Bucs are on a bye this week, but it's a huge game in a couple of weeks, especially if Minnesota wins. And we gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it here shortly. But I guess we gotta talk about it, man. We gotta talk about it.
What do we gotta talk about?
The Kansas City Tyreek Hills, 200 yards in the first quarter. Made hashtag #1 corner Carlton Davis look like something. I don't know.
No words.
No words. Look, Bowles did not do that man any favors, bro. Like, once he got burned on the first couple of plays, on the first series, no safety help, had him man up. He cannot, like, Carlton Davis is not a speed corner. He can't cover speed receivers like that. So you need to give him some safety help, or at least shade the coverage over to his side, Drew. And he just left him on an island. And Carlton if he can get his mitts on you, he is one of the best press corners. But they've gotten away from that. And we talked about before, they was running a lot of zone, and it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Like, nothing was working, man. Ty Bowles he has got to be better, and he was masterful earlier on this season, bro. And it just has not been like, look, if you want to beat the Bucs, pass the ball. They're going to stop your run, but pass the ball, and you got a chance at beating the Bucs, especially if the offense is not getting going. So how was Laura feeling? How was she?
She's on cloud 9 right now. That's one of the only fan bases that can actually be calm right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. Like, as a Chiefs fan, she's got the Steelers in the corner of her eye. Like, they can never rest if the Steelers are doing good because for some reason, those playoff matches don't tend to go their way. So she's got Pittsburgh out of the corner of her eye, but it's smooth sailing right now.
Yeah. We gotta get another your team update from her because, like, I mean, to be honest with you, that's kind of one of the best ones to get because she's in the pole position. She just won a Super Bowl, and we get to see it. You know what I mean? Like from a Chiefs fan's eyes. Like I love seeing it from just the fan bases that are doing well, you know what I mean, and the ones that are not doing so well, but like it's an interesting perspective though, you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, let's move on into this week's your team updates. Enough from us for a second, but this time, you know, you said it. We've had some teams that haven't been doing so well, so we're switching up, and we got your team updates from a division leader in the Tennessee Titans. It's my good buddy, very funny guy. I fell in love with this guy when I watched him perform comedy at the Cola Comedy Con in Columbia, South Carolina a few years ago. Just a Southern poet, if you will. Nice. Here's his take on the Tennessee Titans.
Hey, y'all. Hunter Roberts, Tennessee Titans fan. It was a pretty good week, I'm not going to lie. It was like y'all said last week, it's Derrick Henry doing Derrick Henry things. He had like 140 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half. So that was obviously what drove this game. But it was a great game. However, if you look at what happened 2 weeks ago when we played the Colts, that was a bad game. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. And that's what worries me about this Titans team. Of course, we got a great offense. You got the best running back over the last 2 years, Derrick Henry. And then the little cherry on top of that, you have the most, statistically, one of the most reliable quarterbacks in the league with Tannehill. But the defense, on the other hand, is a little less reliable, especially on third down. They're the worst in the league. And then there's the special teams, which, have been up and down, to say the least. So, do I think that this could be a Super Bowl team? Maybe. You know, I've been a fan of this Titans. I've been a fan of the Titans since the Music City Miracle. So I have to temper my expectations because I've been here through it all. And plus, we're in the AFC where the Chiefs are. So if you're not good on defense, if you can't stop teams on the third down, then boy, I don't know if you're going to make the Super Bowl. But look, I say it sounds negative, but I'm not. I'm really positive. I'm really happy about this team. But I'm trying to temper expectations because on those opportunities when we've had chances to really shine, really succeed. Of course, we did that the last 2 weeks, but we also blew it against the Steelers, and we blew it 2 weeks ago, 17 days ago against the Colts. We made up for it today, but we'll see. There's still a lot of football left to be played. Shit, we could probably wind up playing the Colts again in the playoffs, knowing the way this season's going. But yeah, man, King Henry. Crown him, motherfucker. Crown him.
Very well articulated there, Mr. Roberts. I appreciate it. I felt that was like some top-notch sports broadcasting right there.
That was good.
That was spectacular.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't even have anything to say.
We said it, Drew.
Yeah, I think he said what he needed to say.
I really got nothing.
Hats off to you, sir.
He covered a lot. Yeah,
you can tell that's a guy who watches the games, man.
Dope.
He was ready to pick apart every little bit of that. That was perfect. Thank you, Hunter.
Yeah, and
appreciate that, man.
And that was awesome. And you could feel that like coming through. And he breaks it down like I break it down like you break it down. I mean, like when you watch every play, that's you know exactly what your team needs, and you're never happy.
Nah.
I think.
Nah.
With real fans, you're just never happy because
could have been better.
Unless you're beating teams 50-0, you know what I'm saying? Like holding or teams to 17 points a game like a defense ideally should, you know what I mean? Like you're not happy. You always got something you want to fix. And
you don't know anything about that, do you?
Tip of the cap to you. Right. No, I don't know nothing about that.
No.
So, so tip of the cap to you, man.
Thank
But
you,
awesome.
We'll definitely
job.
have to check back in with him sometime soon. Especially if the Titans make a little runski.
Well, I mean, they look like they're well on their way. Yeah. Do they not?
Yeah.
I mean, do
they needed
not?
to get over that hurdle of beating the Colts. You know, and I think that's going to help
So
their confidence a lot.
Oh yeah. And like I said, I thought the Colts were going to take it, and I was clearly wrong, especially the way that they dominated that game. They played like they had a chip on their shoulder, and you know what it is. If we look back on it, Drew, if we look back on it, and them meeting on the Ravens 50-yard line was the catalyst for putting them over the top.
Hey, I love it.
That what a point to your season, getting in the coach's face,
yeah, man.
And then you rip off a couple of wins. You know what I'm saying?
Him.
Like, let's go. I like it. And Malcolm Butler, the last couple of weeks I saw earlier, he has been one of PFF's top corners the last 5
I think that dude
so,
runs on, like most corners,
really,
runs on adrenaline and anger and beef. So I think that did him super well, getting in Harbaugh's face.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did. So, just to talk about it real quick, man, we do have a little something special for y'all that we want to get into, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. But these next couple of weeks, these next 4 weeks, Drew,
Yeah.
are extremely crucial. And right now, it's so many scenarios that we wanted to get into y'all live right here on the show. So we went to the ESPN playoff machine, and this is what we talking about. Like we talked about it in our chat or whatever, but just the wins and the losses that are coming up here are absolutely integral to what these teams are going to be trying to do. So we're going to look at it. So as of right now, before week 13, Tampa Bay drops to the 6th seed. 5th seed is LA because they got the win over them. The Giants are still in lead of the East, Drew. Still in lead of the East, right? Green Bay's the 3 seed, Seattle's the 2, and New Orleans is the 1 seed. Now, when we're doing this, we're going to assume that the bad teams, for the most part, are going to take losses in order to make these scenarios as accurate as we think they are going to be. So, in week 13, I mean, honestly, like, I'm taking the Seahawks over the Giants, Drew. I'm taking the Seahawks over the Giants. Let's get a couple of the bad teams out of the way. Bengals lose. Raiders beat the Jets. Let's say, for purposes, I think, weirdly enough, I really think the Chargers are going to beat the Patriots this weekend.
Okay.
Green Bay over the Eagles, right? Green Bay over the Eagles.
Now, wait a minute. Are you sure?
What?
Are you sure?
What? How? I think so.
Watch. That one's going to come back
Unless we get, right. Colts over the Texans. We next week we're going to talk about the AFC, but Titans get a win. Chiefs get a win. Steelers at Washington this week.
Is this the game?
I'm going with the Steelers, man. I'm going with the Steelers in that one. Like Vikings face the Jaguars. Talking about the NFC, Vikings face the Jaguars. Right, they should be in position to get that dub. Let's say the Bills, better team, beat the Niners. Right, that game, the way the Niners been playing, Drew, they just beat the Rams. What do you think, man?
I mean, at least it didn't really Nick Mullins. Like, if Nick Mullins was going off,
right.
You know what I mean? He did have 253 yards, but he did throw that pick, no touchdown. So, at least Mullins isn't beating him. So, I feel better about it.
Okay. All right. So, we'll say, what you say, Niners?
Nah, I think it's the Bills.
Bills.
Yeah, I got to go Bills.
Yeah.
Until proven otherwise, Josh Allen.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So, like, this Detroit-Chicago game is a mucking it up matchup here. I'm going to take the Saints over the Falcons. I'm going to take the Ravens over the Cowboys. Now, this is where it gets crazy. This is the matchup of the week. And we're going to talk about it in my matchup. This is my matchup. But LA at the Rams, man. I mean...
Wait, who?
So many scenarios. LA at...
I was going to say, come back in. I was like, wait, what?
Oh yeah, so LA at the Rams. All right, so this matchup here, LA at Arizona, man. It's kind of a toss up, but like, let's say the Rams win it, right? If the Rams win it, Arizona, which was the 7th seed, now is out.
Yeah, out
because they lost. And Minnesota is in now, Drew. Minnesota is in now.
I mean, I picked them at the beginning of the year, so I'm okay with it.
Right. That's what I was saying. I was like, oh, my pick sneaking in. So let's say even if Chicago wins over the Lions. Now, we're moving on to week 14 now. Week 14, so let's get all the losses out of the way, right? Let's get the easy losses out of the way. Seahawks over the Jets. Chiefs over the resurgent Dolphins. Raiders and Colts is a toss up. So let's mix that one out as AFC anyway.
They're both gonna lose. Can
Saints,
that be a tie?
Saints over. I can actually. We can do what we want. So all right. So check me out. I got Green Bay over the Lions. Yeah. I got Titans over the Jaguars. Bengals. No, I got Cowboys over the Bengals. Cowboys over the Bengals.
Really?
I'm gonna say Falcons. Yeah, I'm gonna say Falcons over the Chargers. Texans over the Bears. Let's say Carolina over Broncos. And let's say I'm gonna leave that AFC matchup alone. Let's say Steelers Bills good game. I'm gonna say
we got some good games coming up. This is nice.
Now, right, that's what I'm saying. This is so much to pack in, man. So much to pack in. So we're doing this live. We're doing this live right now to get y'all reaction, Drew's reaction. Drew, Washington at San Francisco. I mean,
I can see that going either way.
Giants still right. So as of week 14, let's come back in. Saints are still the 1 seed week 14 with what we had. 2 seed Green Bay, 3 seed Seattle, 4 seed New York Giants, 5 seed LA, 6 seed Tampa Bay, 7th seed Minnesota. They knocked Arizona out in this scenario, right? So Washington at San Francisco, Drew. What you think?
I say let's cause some chaos here, man. Let's say Washington wins this game.
Okay, Washington is now the 4 seed, but we got to figure out who wins. Now, who wins in this matchup? Arizona at New York, right? Like that.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll say Arizona wins.
Okay, Arizona wins at New York. So now, okay, all right. So now now this is a big game because what you had coming into the week, Minnesota was in the 7th seed, right? Tampa was in the 6th seed. Minnesota at Tampa Bay. This is why this is what I was talking about. This is a huge game right here. Big game right here. I mean, if you're asking me, it's as much of a toss up to me because Sean? But this is the thing though, man. I really don't know at this point. The way that the Bucs have been reeling, they should be the favorite in this game.
I think
they are at home. They do have the only reason I think we have a good possibility to win the game is because our rush defense, their biggest strength is
if you can shut down
best.
Cook.
And
he got a little banged up against Carolina. You know what I mean? So you don't know.
That's true. But then, we just shut down a very dangerous rushing attack in CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Le'Veon Bell. Did we not? I mean, they were passing all over us, but they weren't running on us. You know what I'm saying? So the rush defense is still there. I think that would help. But the offense has got to get back on, and we're coming off a bye too. So to face Minnesota because we got a bye in week 13. So if we get that game. Lord Jesus, if we get that game, golly, I can't say it confidently at all, man. It's messing with me.
That's some scenarios right there. You know what I mean? Like,
right? It's a lot going on.
And that's just assuming
a lot going on, and that's
the good teams beat the bad teams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's still plenty of chaos to be had because nothing ever goes according to plan.
No, and that's why we love the NFL. But this is and wrapping up. See, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna check back in with this in a couple of weeks to see how those scenarios play out. Yeah. But that's what we wanted to kind of get y'all thinking in that mode, man. Because let it be known right here on this show that there is a lot. We said it before. There's a lot of football left to be played, Drew. A lot of football left to be played. So checking back in with the teams again. One more time. Number 1 seed in this scenario, NFC. Next week we'll do the AFC.
Okay.
Getting y'all up.
And this gets us up to week 15.
Right now, the NFC.
With our scenarios.
Right.
Okay.
With our scenarios. So, 1st seed, number 1 seed, New Orleans.
Okay.
2 seed, Green Bay Packers. Okay. 3 seed, Seattle Seahawks at 10-3. 4 seed, Washington football team at Drew 5-8 in this scenario. 5-8. They are the 4 seed hosting a playoff game. Number 5 seed LA at 8-4. Number 6 seed Tampa Bay at 8-5. Number 7 knocking Minnesota out with the loss. Arizona Cardinals at 7-6. Drew, a 7-6 team a gritty NFC West team getting in, baby.
I love it. That's 3 playoff spots for the NFC West if that keeps playing out like that.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's going to be, if that's the case, it's got to be a quick exit for one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Just the sheer numbers, right? Like
Yeah.
So
no way all of them move on.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I dig it. I
appreciate
I like
you
that,
finding
man.
for
I
us.
like
That's
that.
Nice. Real quick before
man.
we move on from week 12, got a couple housekeeping notes.
Housekeeping.
New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones, no structural damage to the hamstring, but it is a strained hamstring, will miss time, don't know how long. Colt McCoy is the starter going forward. So, not a name I thought I would hear in 2020, but hey, good for him.
Yeah. Colt just he just keep getting them checks, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to Colt McCoy, man.
He's
Sticking
made quite
around in the league.
a career,
Yep.
Texans wide receiver Will Fuller suspended 6 games for a banned substance. He says it was a prescription medication he thought was good, but it was not.
Drew, is that how he stayed healthy? Is that how he been staying healthy? That banned substance?
That banned substance.
I don't know, man, because he went off the other day, too.
Yeah,
so
that was weird to see. Like, he went off and they're like, he's suspended. Like, that man, okay.
Oh, that piss test was waiting for him back in the locker room as soon as he got off the field.
Yeah, but like, this is
got
unlike
off the field. Go ahead and pee in this for me, dog.
Jets Gacy says play calling will now be a collaborative effort.
Collaborative effort.
He wants everyone to get fired.
He gonna collaborate. Yeah, his left brain is gonna collaborate with his right brain, and they gonna make a decision.
They gonna walk out the door when they get fired.
He ain't giving them yeah, they gonna have to.
49ers are gonna be playing their next two home games in Arizona. Made an agreement with the Cardinals to share their stadium since they got booted from their home.
Yeah. Excellent tweet, by the way, from the Cardinals. Excellent tweet. That was elite tweeting by them.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Lions name offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell, interim head coach.
Okay. Yes, I like it. Darrell Bevell was he was one of the orchestrators of the Legion of Boom.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was up there for a good long time. It's time for him to get his shot. I like it. I really do. We'll see what he does, especially with the immediate turnaround. I want to see on the defense if they get a little bump there. So he's got a good history in this league, man. I hope to see him do well.
Nice.
Hope to see him do well.
Shouts to him. Myles Garrett activated from the COVID list, so he can return to play. That'll be a big boost for Cleveland next week. And I wanted to keep true to my word. I said last week I would do some research on the Steelers wide receivers coaches history since we were ranting and raving about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess if I can take anything away from my research, it was consistency is key. You know what I mean? Like, not a lot of people stay in those position coaches for long. They move up to coordinators or other things, or they just get fired because they suck. So they've only had 7 wide receiver coaches since 2001.
Oh, that wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy though.
Right. 2001 to 2003 was Kenny Jackson. 2004 to 2006 was a little gentleman you might know by the name of Bruce Arians.
Nice.
07 to 09 was Randy Fitchner.
Okay.
2010 was Scotty Montgomery. 2011 to 17 was Richard Mann. He was a wide receiver coach from 82 to 17 with the Colts, Browns, Jets, Ravens, Chiefs, Washington. He was with your Bucs from 02 to 09, and then the Steelers.
Yeah.
So he retired, and then they brought in Daryl Drake, who died in the middle of training camp in 2019.
Yes, right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, you're right, man. Consistency is key. And Richard Mann has obviously he can retire. He's done enough.
Yeah.
I mean, his resume speaks for itself.
82 to 2017.
Shout out to him.
Wow.
Right? Like, I mean, and just like we were just talking about like being a department head the other day, but it's just like clearly he was fine with what he was like. He loved what he was doing and did it well. Like you know, obviously you made a great living. You know what I mean? Like that's awesome,
what I say,
man.
dude, man. Find a position coach or a coaching position a position coach position. Is that what you said? I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. You got it.
Find one of those that you like doing and just stay there.
Don't aspire to do anything. Just aspire to be great, and don't be greater.
This is as good
That's
as
what
it
we want
gets.
you to do. Just be great, not greater.
The grass is not greener.
Right. It always. It definitely isn't always, as a lot of these football players can attest. Le'Veon Bell, but it wound up working out for him. But
right.
That's just one example.
It's that time. Who you crushing on this Sunday, Sean?
It's that time.
Man crush.
Oh, I like it. So, Drew, where you want to start this week, man? Where you want to start this week? You want to go QB first?
Yeah, let's do it. Who's your QB this week?
Okay. All right, so my QB is, we just talked about this guy, being somewhat mediocre, but I think that this week is the week that he gets it done, and it is none other than your former wide receiver quarterback, Ryan Tannehill versus the Browns. Ryan Tannehill versus the Browns. Okay. I really see, I think that, we were talking about it. Derrick Henry coming in, you are going to have to sell out to stop him. And it's going to help that they're getting Miles back, right? So I want to see them try to stop him. And I think because of that, Tannehill, A.J. Brown really, picking it back up. Corey Davis, a resurgent Corey Davis. We talked about that in the offseason, right?
Been playing great.
Like if Corey Davis was able to bring it, that makes him a better quarterback. So him having his receivers kind of go off, I think Ryan Tannehill will have a day. So I think he might get it done. As mediocre as he can.
Mediocre as he can.
What you got for your quarterback?
I
had to take a dig on the way out, though.
I got Josh the Great. Josh Allen. Buffalo Bills versus 49ers.
Okay. Solid.
Goff had 198 yards on him at a mediocre day. Mm-hmm. I think Josh Allen picks him apart a little bit better. They're still missing some key guys, not really getting to the quarterback as much. Even though they picked off Goff twice, but I think that was more him than them. But I think Josh Allen has a day. He's going to have to if they win the game.
I could. Yeah, and that's the factor which I'll get into a little bit later. But like Josh Allen is as mobile as he can be, and he ain't Kyler Murray. That dude's big. You know what I'm saying? Like trucky. So. If he is that running quarterback is a factor that you can't plan for, even with that Rams defense. Like, even with that Rams defense. So I can really see him going off, rushing and passing, to be honest with you, especially if, like you said, if they win, he's going to have to. So, I call QB, Drew. So who you want to go with next?
I want to, I'll start with my running back. Running backs, plural, this week. I'm going all the running backs in the Cleveland-Tennessee game. Now, I know I said I would love for the defenses to stop these guys and just play Mayfield versus Tannehill. It's just not going to happen. As much as I want it to, these guys are going to get theirs like they've been doing. Chubb, Henry, Hunt, those guys are all going to have ridiculous numbers. And they're not going to abandon the run now, especially on a game that both need to win. So I think all the running backs benefit from this.
Yep. And talking, kind of reaching back just a hair for the playoff scenarios. I was actually looking at the AFC, and when I tell you that this game is big,
huge.
I am telling you, this game is huge for both teams. For both teams, this is huge. Yeah. Especially the Browns more so, but that's all I'm gonna say on that one. So, for my running back, which Drew, you are the commissioner of our league. I have a little gripe that I'll talk with you about later. But for some reason, I had this man on my fantasy squad, and it would not let me add him to the injured reserve slot. So I had to release him in order to I hate fantasy football. Yeah. But anyway, Austin Eckler, my running back for the Chargers versus the Pats this week, man. He came back and had a day, especially in the passing game.
They needed a running back.
They needed it. Yep, they needed that spark. And I think now, because Kelly and the other running backs have had to do it without him, now that he's back, they're kind of walking in their shoes a little bit, you know what I'm saying, so to speak. So, like, they got their feet underneath them, add Austin Eckler into that. It looks good for the future if all of them can stay healthy. Yeah. So I think he'll have a day on Sunday, to be honest with you.
I like it. Well, who's your wide receiver? Who you going with your pass catcher this week?
I'm sorry, I can't deny this anymore. Like, I'm not a fan of the dance. It's a little whack for me, but Justin Jefferson, man,
bro,
that dude he scores touchdowns every week.
Samesies.
The word is it? Nice.
I don't want to like him,
he
but
just
he's good.
Right. I mean, he got swag. He got swag. His dance is whack, but like he got swag, and he just continues to get touchdowns every week. Yeah. Like, for some reason, and even on Sunday, I mean, you saw it firsthand, but like on plays where he was not the primary receiver, he wound up getting the ball because he was open. Like, right. So,
and now they got something to play for.
I got Justin Jefferson.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
yep. Damn, I was hoping y'all was gonna win that game, bro.
Yeah, not me.
I needed that.
It's not me. Give me that top 5 draft pick.
Yeah, well, all right. So that's what I was. Quick aside here, but Drew, like, just a couple quick Panther questions for y'all Panthers fans out there. One, Drew, where do you realistically want to pick? Because you're probably not going to get one, right? So anywhere in the top 5, where do you think is a good spot for y'all? Quick.
I'll take 3 to 7.
3 to 7. Yeah. Okay,
I'll take that range.
All right. Now, second question, piggybacking off that, what is the position that you most want y'all to target? Realistically, because if it ain't the top 2 picks, like, are you really going to get a quarterback? So realistically,
right? Like, I would love a tough as nails middle linebacker, but I don't want to reach for one of those at 3. You know what I mean? Like, if we get 7 to 14, I'd be okay with that. But I want an elite tackle or a guard or something. God, no. You know what I mean?
No, y'all. I don't want y'all to get Michael Parsons. I don't want that. Like, I don't want that.
Maybe.
So I hope he's gone. I hope he's gone by the time, because this is what happens. Like, the karma of the football gods says that because you lost Luke Kuechly early, y'all were probably looking for somebody to replace him. Obviously, you are, but it's just like how serendipitous that Micah Parsons is coming out. You know what I'm saying?
I would love it. Changing
going to be available. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it. I don't want him. Get him out the NFC South if he ain't coming to us. You know what I'm saying?
He's coming to Carolina.
I don't want him.
It's okay.
I don't want
him.
All right. Nah.
It's cool.
Nah. All right. So getting back on track here, man. Getting back on track. So we both had Justin Jefferson, right? Like, obviously, samesies. Let's go defense.
Okay.
Drew, let's go defense.
I'm going Miami Dolphins.
Who you got?
Against Cincinnati. I think the Dolphins, they're putting up good numbers. They're Why not?
Yeah. It's their defense that's carrying them in a lot of these games.
Yeah, because it's not the quarterbacks.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Miami Dolphins, when it's all said and done after this week, is the number 1 overall defense in fantasy. To be honest,
I picked them up.
The Bengals are reeling right now. Yeah, the Bengals are reeling right now. That's a good pickup by you, man. I got the Steelers versus the Washington football team. I mean, and we just talked about it. Like, Washington, they're in it. They are in it. Like, and that's just a testament to what Ron Rivera is doing down there. But I mean, the Steelers are going to be too much for them. So just chalk this one up as a loss. I think the Steelers eat
chalk this
all
one
day
up as a loss
on this one, especially like them being pissed off. But also the game got moved. This game got moved.
Yeah, to Monday
a little bit because of. Right, yeah. So as long as they have the appropriate amount of time to rest, then I think the Steelers can win this game.
Yeah.
So let me frame that. Context matters, baby. Context matters. So that leaves us with tight end.
Who's your tight end?
All right, man. So I have a little bit of disdain. I got a little bit of disdain for this dude. You know what I'm saying? Just because my guy hasn't really lived up to expectations or he's been injured, and I'm talking about O.J. Howard. So the yin to that yang, Evan Ingram of the Giants versus the Seahawks. I think Evan Ingram, I think he eats this week, man, because the Seahawks had a little bit of a resurgence, but Evan Ingram he finds ways to get open. He's a great receiver, so I really like him this week. Who you got?
I'm going Eric Ebron, Pittsburgh Steelers. against Washington.
Ah.
I think he's good for at least a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah. Weirdly enough, like, that's great minds, man. I thought about picking Ebron, but I was like, I already picked the Steelers. You know what I'm saying? So let me go another route with another matchup, I think. So that's why I landed on Evan Ingram. But I think both of them will wind up doing pretty good, to be honest with you, this weekend.
Yeah.
So so that means what we got, Drew? You want to go?
Let's go matchups.
Locks.
Let's go matchup. What's your matchup of the week?
Let's do matchups. All right, so matchup of the week. We talked about it a little bit earlier. But this is a huge matchup, man. It is the LA Rams versus the Arizona Cardinals,
on the line.
And a lot on the line. And I'm gonna basically, I found a rhythm with my matchup, so this is how I'm gonna start breaking them down. But like, for me, what do the stats say? Right? What do the stats say in this game? Like, I'm not gonna try to overthink it, but it says that despite being inconsistent at the game's most important position, the Rams are still finding a way to thrive on offense, Drew. Yeah. I'm telling you, look, number 10 in pass yards, number 9 in rush yards,
consistent.
7th overall total yards per game, right? So that's even with Jared Goff turning the ball over a little bit. You know, we talked about their 3-headed rushing attack now.
Akers had a pretty
honestly
good
game. Yeah, and I think his workload is just going to continue to increase because, like, how can it not at this point, you know? On the other side of the ball, the defense is doing just as well as the offense is, like, in as far as what their numbers are telling me. So that it just makes them a complete team, right? And they're peaking at the right time. Like, they are dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, make no mistake about it. The Rams are dangerous. Regardless of what you think of them, if you have not seen them play, they're very dangerous. Defense is 3rd in pass yards, Drew. 3rd in pass yards, 4th in rush yards.
Okay.
2nd in total yards given up.
Okay.
Right? And that's, I mean, and to be honest, on the flip side of it, the Cardinals, they're 4th in rush offense, but their passing attack is kind of mediocre, even with DeAndre Hopkins. It's kind of they're 16th in pass yards per game. But
I didn't see that coming.
With yes, yep.
But then
with
again,
the rushing the pass
they don't
overall,
have anybody else. You know what I mean?
Exactly. The Cardinals, it's innovative, but they're inconsistent as far as their balance of power on their offense. Like, their rushing attack is great because of Kyler Murray. And now, as far as what I think will happen, the Rams, they're kind of too complete as far as for what the Cardinals do well. Like, their rushing attack as well, but the Rams have a great rush defense. They have an elite wide receiver, but the Rams also have an elite defensive back in Jalen Ramsey, right? Like,
I'm ready for that.
Not
matchup,
only that,
man.
but right. That's elite. That's elite on elite right there. But like, if even if you take that greatness with that greatness, that's a wash for me.
Yeah. And
the rest of the secondary for the Rams is just as good, right? So like, or not just as good as Jalen Ramsey, but they complement him well.
They work well.
You know what I'm saying? So I just don't think it bodes well for what the Cardinals are trying to do. Now, I will say that if Jared Goff turns the ball over, throw it out the window. If Kyler Murray gets off and is rushing and that kind of opens up everything else, throw everything out the window. So I think the Rams get it, but those two factors for me could swing it either way, in my opinion. So that's what I got, bro. That's what I got.
I like it, man. I like it. My matchup of the week is just as relevant to the playoffs on the flip side in the AFC. It's the Cleveland Browns at Tennessee Titans. We talk about it.
We just talked about
the
that.
running attack, the passing attack. Who's going to win? Who's going to be the X factors of these games? I think Nick Chubb's going to keep getting his yards. I think Derrick Henry's going to keep getting his yards. It's just what defense can kind of halfway contain the rushing game. That's who's going to win.
Yeah, and they're going to have to, because I feel like the rubber's got to meet the road here at some point. Like, at some point during the game, you're going to have to make a stop, like in a rushing stop. I mean, especially if both of these teams are rushing. I mean, what we talking, Drew? 3rd and short, 4th and short at some point during this game? Mm-hmm. You know, especially with both quarterbacks not being a super heavy passer, right? Yeah. Like, if that's what it's going to come down to, somebody's going to have to make a play. And that's why you drafted Myles Garrett. You know what I'm saying?
No
like
doubt.
that's why you drafted him.
Who
So,
would you trust more? Say,
would I
God
trust
forbid, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt all get hurt tomorrow. Who would you trust to lead their team to a victory more, Tannehill or Mayfield?
Ooh, good question. Good question. I would probably have to say Tannehill.
Okay.
Because he's done it just last year, and has been trending up, and the what am I trying to say here? And the talent around him.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, not necessarily the talent around him, but like the coaching staff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the staff around him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like they
Understand
would be a
him
little
and know
bit
how to
more
use him.
equipped to handle that.
I got you. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I say Tannehill. I say Tannehill. Yep.
Well, that's good. That's my matchup. Let's get into our guaranteed locks. Lock it in, Sean. Who is your guaranteed winner this week?
So my guaranteed winner, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It doesn't. They just pulled it out from the skin of their teeth talking about the Patriots, and Herbert continues to throw for 300 a week, man. Continues to throw for 300 a week. I'm going with the Chargers winning over the Pats. Getting Austin Eckler back. Add that into the fact that we just said it. Justin Herbert throwing for 300 a week. Still turning the ball over a little bit, but like we just talked about it. I don't think Cam can match that, man.
Yeah.
I don't think Cam can match that if they start throwing that ball around. I think the Chargers win, man.
Okay.
I think the Chargers win, so that's who I got.
I like that pick, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got me hyped up talking about the Rams and Cardinals. I'm going LA Rams guaranteed to beat the Cardinals this week.
Yeah, I could see it. I definitely could see it. And like I said, I think if everything plays out the way that the numbers suggest, I don't think the Cardinals can beat the Rams. And then, like, you got to think about it. The Rams swept them last year too. Like, in the first matchup wasn't even close, and then like Kyler came into his own a little bit, made it to the fourth quarter. But the Rams continue to be big brother. So until prove us otherwise, prove us otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't know, man. Who you got for your loser this week, Drew?
Oh, Philip and the Colts. I'm calling them to lose against the Texans this week.
Oh, wow! Yeah. Like, okay, what's the biggest reason why you think that that's gonna be the case?
I think this is a trap game for them. I think the Texans. To be fair, I did make this pick before I found out Fuller was suspended, but I'm gonna stick with it.
Really?
I think Deshaun Watson is playing some of the best football of his career right now, whether he's got a team around him or not.
Yeah.
JJ's playing good. The defense looks good. I just don't think Phillip can beat him.
Okay, I hear you, man. I hear you. That's awesome. I don't see it happening, but like if Deshaun goes off, I mean,
anything is possible.
Will Fuller's out too, so anything is possible. You know what I'm saying? Anything. So yeah, I mean, as far as my loss this week, man, this dude has just been running all over the place, and I don't see anybody that's going to be able to stop him right now. And I got the Browns losing to the Titans, man. I mean, I just and to be honest, man, like Browns, y'all need it. I don't know if you know that you need it this bad, but you need this win. So like it would be in your best interest to get this game and to not have to worry about the scenarios playing out the way that they may.
Can they do it?
But I don't think it happens this week, man. I got King Henry still continuing to run all over y'all, and that kind of bodes into my pick of Ryan Tannehill being my QB this week. I think he is able to kind of corral them because the Browns may try to sell out to stop Henry. That may open some things up. AJ Brown going off. I got Corey Davis coming back. Yeah, he coming back. So like he's having his weapons. It's trending in the right direction for the Titans, and I think the Titans get a win this week. And Browns hold on to your seatbelts.
Okay, got to win some games down the stretch.
Hold on to your seatbelts. Yeah.
Well, real quick,
so I got
before we get out of here, who needs to step it up this week?
Oh, Drew, I think America and all of football fandom can attest to my step it up candidate, but it is none other than your Denver Broncos quarterbacks, man. Like, what are y'all doing? What's happening there? What is happening there, Drew? Like, okay, so you didn't know that you had COVID.
None of y'all.
None. But like, so Jeff Driscoll didn't know that he had COVID, wasn't following protocols or wearing masks, decides to get into a huddle with these guys or be in close contact with them. They didn't know.
They weren't wearing masks.
That's what we talk about, man. You are putting other people at risk if you don't know that you have it. And that's exactly what happened in the Denver situation, man. Like, and then you had to get a practice squad wide receiver to be your quarterback.
Kudos to him for jumping in the mix, man.
And shout to him.
Just looks scared to death out there, which I would have too. You know what I mean? Went 1 for 9.
Yeah.
You know, in his but hey, they at least they tried to throw some variety in there. They threw the ball 9 times. That's 9 more times than I thought they were going to.
I mean, have you ever seen a team put themselves in more position to actually know that they're going into a game to lose than Denver did?
It's like they knew it from a get-go. Like that Philip Lindsay fumbled the ball in the Wildcat early on. They're just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in that game on the Denver sideline, basically, no, everybody in the game, they just basically showed up to collect the game check because they already knew what it was. Yeah. It was no question about it. So Denver,
step it up.
I expect some fines to come down or something like that for non-protocol.
Yeah,
following.
I think if at the very least they're getting in trouble with their coach. Like their coach is pissed.
Yeah, for sure. And he put it on them. Big fan. He put it on the quarterbacks for not doing that. Like for not following
dumb.
So step it up, man. Be better. Be better.
Dummies.
I don't know.
Well, nice.
Yeah.
We're
so that's what I got.
Looks like the football season's gonna keep trucking, so we are too. Give us a shout out on Instagram at nickel_dime football. Hit me up personally on Instagram at Laugh with Harrison. You can check out all past episodes on our YouTube channel and at drewharrisoncomedy.com. But yeah, that's it for me.
Yep. All right. Well, you can actually find me at the Kid Suds on Twitter and at our new finally we got a Twitter spot, man. Holler at us on that. Follow us on Twitter at nickel_dime FB, nickel_dime football. Follow us there. Same thing, content, IG content on Twitter. And then follow us on YouTube, man. Go check out Drew's Drop-Throughs reviews, man. I need to know where to get my fast food from whenever I have the craving.
Got a new chicken sandwich from Zaxby's. Check it out.
Oh, yeah. It did look pretty good.
It was good.
It looked pretty good. But yeah, at the Kid Subs on Twitter, man. And we love y'all. Thanks for everything. And I guess we'll see y'all next week.
See you then.